Hi, my name is Fenter, and welcome to another episode of WQMD. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. A small quote with a huge impact that is not often heard enough. The suicide rates under teens in the LGBTI community are at an all-time high. But when will action be taken to prevent these precious lives from being lost? Bullying leads to anxiety, fear and isolation, and often in spaces where one should feel the safest, the effects of which can linger for a lifetime. So team, have you ever been bullied? What is your experience regarding bullying? Have you seen it? Have you been part of it?
I think everybody goes through bullying or experiences bullying at some point or stage in their life, be it directly or indirectly. I remember specifically me in school, I was extremely bullied a lot. Not necessarily that I made a prominent, about my female features or being feminine, but it was part of who I was, but I didn't accentuate it, if I could put it in that sense. And I put on a mask every day when I went to school because I didn't want to draw unnecessary attraction to myself. I wanted to go to school, get it out of the way, and go back home. I was in grade 8 and we did a review at school, and I remember this one guy kept on hassling me and kept on calling me a morphe, and it made me so self-conscious, and I retracted myself from everybody, and I didn't want to be part of the production anymore. I didn't want to engage with people. I just wanted to vanish off the face of the earth. And years later, I was sitting there one day and I was thinking about this instance, and I was like, but dude, you were with me in the production. How can you tell me that I'm a morphe for singing and dancing on stage and doing the school review, but you're in the production with me? And that's where I realized that people will try and bully you and belittle you, and if you don't stand up for yourself or speak up about it, people were just going to continue with it. And I think that is a very important thing that we need to, try and get out there, that if you do get bullied, as hard as it is, speak up about it. Find a safe space. Find someone that you can confide in, someone you can trust, because most of the time you feel isolated from everybody else and you don't know how to deal with these situations.
And I find like bullies are always projecting, so they're projecting their own insecurities onto you. So they were obviously trying to give all the attention to you so that you wouldn't see whatever was happening.
But it was unnecessary attention that I didn't want.
All the time.
A lot of the cases that what happens is people that bully others, especially because of our orientation, is that they are fighting against their own orientation,
Absolutely.
feelings maybe,
True.
and they try to reflect it onto someone else to take it away from them.
Yeah.
Maybe if they, to be honest, I was one of them, and I'm not proud of it, but I was one of them.
In which sense?
I was mean to other people because of their orientation, but it's because I was fighting within myself.
You had your own insecurities.
I was fighting within myself about my feelings, and I thought maybe if I'm mean to someone else, and if I belittle them, I will prove to myself that it is wrong. Ultimately, just to come out of the closet myself. So I think in a lot of cases, and there's numerous stories, even if you look at American senators, that they're in charge of the family system and everything, and they are against gay marriage and gay everything, but then a few months later they get either caught in their own office having sex with another man, or they come out of the closet sometime during the road. So a lot of it is your own insecurities that you're fighting against.
So people who struggle with their sexual identity, why do you think that they are the people who start bullying other people?
I think because we grow up in a society that tells us how to be, it cultures you to a certain sense, if I'm making sense. So when you start experiencing these other feelings that society tells you is wrong, you automatically go into autopilot to, project, this attitude onto other people because you don't want to make peace with what you are experiencing.
Absolutely.
And most of the times it happens to people that are, gay or whatever, and they don't realize the impact that it has on that individual. Bullying doesn't define you as a person, but the effects thereof can linger for years to come. For me now, if I have to walk onto a school ground, I immediately go, even though I know I have nothing to fear, it's just the thought of on a school premises with kids that, you know, are essentially, and still till this day, bullying other people.
I remember when I was 7 years old, I was in a class with a good friend of mine, but I was still young. I knew that there was something different about me. My teacher, and this was the teacher I wanted so badly because she was a tomboy. There was something about her that I could see in myself. And in hindsight, I realized she was probably gay. But like, but like at that time, I was just like, I love everything about her. I love how she dresses. I don't get to dress like that. I'm still like trying to hide myself. And I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to be just like her. I gave her so much attention to the point where she started realizing that this kid is probably like herself. And this is me now just thinking back. Because she treated me so badly.
Oh, wow.
So badly.
Oh, wow.
She ignored me. I remember I was just playing with friends. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I got very excited. And she just kind of stopped me right there and told me to like keep quiet. Like she did all these like microaggressions.
Picking on you.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was like picking on me all the time. And I remember going to grade 2 thinking, I'm so happy I'm out of that class and I hope I never see that woman again. But in my head, like now that I'm thinking about it, I remember exactly how she looks. I remember everything. And I'm just thinking, if I meet her in a mall someday, I'm just going to be like, girl, I still remember when I was 7 years old, you know? I don't know what it was, what it could have been. It could have been something totally different. But it had an
impact on you. It had an impact on you.
So it's something I can't forget, but I hope and I pray that no other child has to go through that. For me, that's the smallest thing, but it can get so much bigger. And I want to just know, like, why do school systems not talk about this? Why are teachers not educating children about sexual orientation, about sexuality? Because it's so problematic. And if our teachers are afraid of speaking about it, where do the children have to go? Like, where do we find safety? It's terrible.
That is a very, very good point. But I think what happens is, I feel like the teachers do not want to interfere with parenting, you know, growing up, like bringing up in education in that sense of the thing. I think teachers have this mindset where they have specific things that they need to teach kids, and the rest of it is like, cool, that is not my problem.
But can we argue that if your child is spending a big percentage at school, your teachers become the parents? It's like
No,
it's just like
absolutely.
an
Absolutely.
unspoken rule. There must be something.
Yeah.
Teachers need some kind of training. It needs to be included in a curriculum somewhere.
The problem with that is also, is that for myself, and I know I grew up very privileged in terms of my schooling, but we are guidance counselors. So whenever there were moments that were happening to us, we could basically go and speak to the guidance counselor. I remember there were 2 of them, and obviously went to the female. We'll speak to that teacher. And her office was under the staircase of the building. So obviously going up to the different levels of the different classes. And I remember always going in there and going to speak to her because I knew this was a place where I could feel safe. This was a place where the guidance counselor would say to me, okay, so this was happening. So I think that's important for schools to basically implement then as well, so that kids within the moment, you know, because I had a lot of drama at home, so it was easier for me to basically go there because you're 100% right. Majority of the time, you're spending your time at school. So to have that guidance counselor on location, on site, you know, that you can go to at any time, and if it's a moment, if you're in class, you'll be like, hi, sorry, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom or to the loo. Their door is always open. You don't have to make an announcement to say, I'm going to the guidance counselor if you feel, you know, that something's happening to you. So I think that's really a great place to start then as well.
But I also want to say, I think, you know, school structures are usually, everybody knows about everybody's business. So there was a teacher in my school where we could go to, but we didn't, because if we go there, we would be bullied even more. Because then it's like, you're a pansy, why are you running to this teacher, you know, to seek refuge, like, why can't you fight your own battles type vibe, and what you see. And again, it's like you feel like you're stuck. Like you want to get help, but you can't get help.
Yes.
So I think that is a big mindset that we need to change. And also the thing is, for me, it's like, for me, if I had to go to a teacher and confide in them, my immediate thing that I would think of next is like, this teacher says it's in confidentiality, but what if this teacher discusses it with another teacher, that teacher discusses it with that one, and eventually it comes full circle back to you.
It's not safe.
And the thing is, teachers aren't always, innocent. Teachers usually bully as well. I remember, because I didn't play rugby, I was extremely picked on as well, and saying oh yeah, you're the culture jock, why don't you play rugby, you must be a real man. And for me, I was just but I don't have any interest in that.
Especially in the Afrikaans school.
Especially in Afrikaans
schools.
schools.
Is the number one thing in an Afrikaans school. So if you do culture, or if you do drama or anything like that, you will immediately be picked on
Yeah.
for, even if you do choir,
Yeah.
you will be picked on. But what I found was in school, especially in high school, the best teachers to go talk to was normally your drama teachers. They were more free-spirited, more open-minded than the rest of your teachers. You couldn't go to your English teacher or your maths teacher, but the drama teacher was always the one that was more willing to listen to you and actually give you advice that might work. So that's what I found personally in school.
But we also do have to acknowledge that not all schools have access to drama teachers. I mean, it's usually very big schools, where there's a lot of, a bigger curriculum that people can look at.
Okay, so I think what the issue is that teachers need to receive training first before it goes down to children, because teachers are not equipped to handle these kind of situations. And if so, where should teachers get this kind of training?
You see, that's the thing. That's a debate we can have again for hours and hours, but it comes down to our Department of Education.
Right.
I mean, we have a constitution where we are allowed to be gay and free in a country. So why hasn't that been implemented into a school syllabus? A very good point that I would like to make is for kids whose parents are having a divorce, there's counseling and those things at school. But for kids who are, different
Support
or LGBT, there's no support groups like that. And that is something that I really think we should get in.
But other than the support groups for teenagers, there was this one movie that came out. What was it called? Dear Simon. I don't know if you guys saw it. One of the most beautiful movies ever of all time. Anyway, so they had this small support group for closeted gays that were battling and stuff, and I think that's what school needs. If it's not being started by our education or by our teachers, start it yourself.
Yeah.
Be it anonymous or whatever. But there are more people like you, most likely, in the school.
Yeah.
Maybe not being bullied because of their orientation, but bullied because of what the activities that they are doing, or because of their parents' divorce or whatever. But now that I think about it, another factor that also comes to mind is Charlize Theron. She's being bullied now because she's accepting the fact that her 3-year-old child decides to be gender fluid. And she's being bullied, and we must actually look at that as well. How do parents of gay children that accept the children, they also get bullied?
Yeah.
And where do they go to? What do they do? Because sometimes they don't want to support their children in their actions because they are afraid of what's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
So where do they go to? Who do they talk to? What do you do there?
I think with the support group thing, it's a very good and valid thing to implement into schools. But again, how do you as a child who feel bullied immediately and start approaching other people that you think might be going through the same thing? You see, we need to get to a point in society where we're not scared to talk about these things, to open up.
Okay, so on that, I wanted to find out, do we still face bullying today? And if we are, what are we doing that's making us cope on a daily basis?
Sure. Cope.
Yeah, I think it
makes you go crazy. I mean, bullying it's not just physical, right? So there's so many platforms. It's emotional. You get cyberbullying.
You get workplace bullying.
Right.
Family. It's everywhere. I mean, you can't outrun bullying. It's there. It's every single day. But I think we need to get into a right mindset where we start not looking at people's labels that society has given us and them, but we need to start looking at the people behind the labels. At the end of the day, we're all just human, trying to find our way through life, and unfortunately we've developed as a species where we want to find our own individuality and be, our own person.
But you then saying that for the person who's receiving the bullying, I need to look at this person and your act is actually something that's incorrect, so I must try and find the person behind that. Is that my responsibility, even though I'm being bullied?
It is your responsibility to make sure that you're safe. and that you are at peace and that your mental health is at peace.
Yeah.
That is your responsibility.
And how do we get to that point? In the act, in the moment, while it's happening to us. If it's on cybernet, on social media, if we're walking into an office and there's an environment that you know, you can feel, I am being judged, I am the one who's being attacked here on a daily basis.
Yeah.
If you're a child, aka myself, a little ballet boy, and I'm walking into a room, and I live two worlds apart. I mean, the one side for me was I was this guy in the entertainment industry, and then I had my family, which was very different, worlds apart. I mean, I would literally be told as well, stop speaking like that. I'm not, what do you mean stop speaking like that?
Yeah.
I go to this school, I'm attending this, I dance ballet, and they're like, oh, you know white people dance ballet, eh? And I'm like, no, you tell me, white people, educate me, because I'm one of those people. And I think for me, I've had this little defense thing, which I don't think is a great thing either, because I've defended myself throughout my journey, because I'm living in these two different worlds. And then I know it's my responsibility to educate the one world, but I'm just like, I'm
it's not your responsibility to educate anyone.
Okay.
All right?
It's your responsibility to be true to yourself.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if when it comes to that, that person knows better than to be ignorant and sitting behind a keyboard and doing whatever they want. Educate yourself. That is your responsibility to society.
But a lot of people are letting go of certain things that they're associated to it. I let go of ballet, for example, because I couldn't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
It was too much. As much as I love dancing, as much as I love being on stage, the bullying factor, which was on the other end, and you constantly then ask yourself, is this worth it?
So Jody, let me ask you one thing. If you had someone to talk to, someone who understood you at that time, do you think it would have made a difference?
If I maybe had someone who was maybe going through the same thing at maybe a little older, who had also gone through it, I think there would definitely be a huge difference there as well, without a doubt.
So education and communication being the key factor.
Yes.
So I think then it's important for children, adults, to find people that they feel safe speaking to. You'll know in your gut that that person will help me, right?
Absolutely.
And then it's important for us to research and find organizations which can assist us.
Yes.
Assist us in moving forward and in progressing. And those are the organizations which we'll put beneath so you can see for yourself.
Yeah.
But like, that's what's important, communication.
Can I add to that as well? I think it's also important for us who have this platform now, who come from it. Because you're asking, have there been someone? No one identified themselves, in that space. Everyone could see as a child what I was going through. So no one stepped up. And I mean, I'm living in two different worlds.
Yeah.
I'm not just speaking of one community. I'm speaking about two completely different worlds. So no one identified to say, actually, I'm a gay guy.
Yeah.
I danced ballet when I was younger as well. And here I am, Jody. So that it makes a huge difference as well for us to also become brave in this day and age to be, this is who I am. Listen, I'm Jody. I did this, I did that, and these are the challenges I've gone through. And stop being so scared in this day and age, so that younger guys who are coming up can identify and say, Shenay, I relate to you. I also want to do what you're doing. Yeah. And Shenay saying, I'm here. Come to me.
That is the very big thing. We need to be brave, and we need to start opening these conversations.
Yes.
Because I feel the minute that you are being bullied and you don't speak up about it, you are giving someone power over your life.
Yes.
And by speaking and taking your power back, that person has absolutely nothing.
It's like that quote, you give them the authority over your life. So you can either give it to them or you can take it back and take your authority.
But again, it's getting to that point of where we step up and take it back.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
a lot
does.
of
And
courage.
it doesn't, we're not saying stand up and go smack the bully in the head.
Absolutely.
It's going to take, if you're not that person who feels like they can stand up on their own right now, it's okay. It's really okay. And that's why we're saying we are giving you these platforms to speak. We allow the conversation to happen. There's someone to talk to. There's always someone to talk to, and there's always someone who supports you. And
Absolutely.
here at WQMD, we're the people.
We want people to come to us. I want to be that person to help somebody else.
Right.
So people are more than welcome to message to DM us on the pages and stuff. A lot of us, have access to the pages, and we're there to give our guidance and our help.
Yes.
But another thing that I feel like we should look at is bullying within our own community.
Yes.
I get bullied a lot of the times by, a lot of gay people for being a drag queen. This was my choice to do this. And the thing is, for me, it comes down to the principle of accept and respect.
Yes.
You don't need to necessarily accept the things that I'm doing. Like, we all have our own journeys that we're taking, but I need you to respect the decisions that I make in my life and the way that I choose to live my life.
Yeah, I mean, they aren't perfect. Who are they to
Exactly.
bully you? I mean, like, they've got issues.
Yeah.
So you can point it back to them, you know?
Yeah, being queer is no way harmful to anybody.
Yes.
And to nobody. So it's quite interesting that people within our own community are doing that. And then it comes again back to the fact that no one is
Speaking up.
speaking up, but also no one's not knowledgeable about each and every label that we have.
Yes.
Right? Because I don't understand you, you're not like me, therefore I inflict harm or hate, right?
Yeah.
And that's an issue.
And that's once again on the human factor. We're coming, boiling it down, and we're saying at the end of the day, this is where we are at. But just like you said, which was so beautiful, this is who I am. All you have to do is respect that. That's it at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I mean, bullying is so painful that it gets to a point where people start committing suicide, taking their own lives. I'm sick and tired of people saying, after someone has passed away or taken their own lives, that they wish they could have done something. This is your opportunity right now to do something.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with you. It's a lot of the times the signals are there. People are trying to reach out, and there's this loud scream like, I'm here, I need advice, please help me. And we refuse that blatantly because of society, we turn the blind eye.
Yes.
And then when it's too late, now everybody all of a sudden wants, wish we could have helped him, and why didn't he speak up? We need to start listening.
One thing in our culture that I've noticed is it's constantly someone else will take care of it, someone else will speak
Yes.
up. I
Nobody
won't-
takes responsibility.
Yeah, I won't because the next person will. Ultimately, the next person doesn't, and no one doesn't.
Yeah.
So if you feel like the next person is going to take responsibility, rather stop there and say, I'm going to take responsibility, because you are the next person that the previous guy said.
Exactly.
So at some point, you need to start.
Somewhere the buck ends with
Yeah.
You know?
And can we then take the responsibility at that point, not only from yourself, but also to know that you can make a difference
Absolutely.
by helping someone before it goes too far, like you said as well.
I would just like to end as well and say bullying is obviously viewed as a very negative thing, but you can grow from that. Like it doesn't define you.
Yes.
Like you can live this beautiful, enriched life from the bricks that other people have thrown at you, and build this beautiful, stable platform, and just grow from there.
I think that's very important to know that the bullying is not the end.
It's not the end.
And it's just a part of the journey. And at the end of the day, you're going to prosper from every circumstances that you go through, situation that you go through
Yeah.
as well. So I think that's also very important for whoever is going through it on any platform, work, social media, at school. Understand that this too shall pass.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, this is a part of your journey. Your journey does not end there.
Absolutely.
And it can actually make you into a better person.
Yes, and a
It's actually
stronger.
a stronger person.
Absolutely.
As well. As we discussed now, it's clear that people's words and people's actions can have disastrous consequences. We as individuals and as a community and society need to learn to love more, accept more, reach out more. One small change can actually save a human life, and it's our responsibility to save that human life.
If you're being bullied, or if you know of someone who is being bullied, make sure that you contact us or contact the links in our description on WQMD.
Do you and 3 of your friends want to win a weekend away at the Forever Resort Loskop Dam? All you have to do is tag 3 of your friends on this post and share. As easy as that.